Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Booth. I am Dan the Law.
Arena. Oh, I didn't know you were going to end that with something. I'm dreaming Tabitha. I did not realize that's what we were doing, but here we are doing it anyway. So, welcome. Tuesday. Another Tuesday.
Tuesday night, everybody. Tuesday. 9 p.m. Well, 9:05.
Eastern Standard Time, which is when we go live all the time.
That's
Tuesdays,
right, all
Sundays.
the time.
If you're new here, just going to go right into it and just be like, shameless plug. This is what we do every Sunday and Tuesday.
This is what we do. Lots of fun.
We try to keep it real. Doing movie reviews like this evening. And Dan, I'm not going to lie. I sat down to watch this film and I thought, why? Why, God? Why? Now I'm sad. And I turned it off. And then a little while later, I turned it back on and I watched and I was like, okay, got the feels out right away. I mean, I don't understand, Dan. Like, you put me through movies like this and Schindler's List, and I'm like, I'm just done. I gotta tell them, like, from now on, no, we need like happy ending movie. And this doesn't even have a happy.
No, it doesn't. I didn't even expect the ending.
Yeah, neither did I. And for that reason, I'm just a little bit perturbed at Dan. I just feel like Dan. Do better, Dan.
I'm sorry. I saw the title, I saw the picture, and I said, this looks really good. It's World War I. Tabitha, let's watch it.
Right. Not realizing, Dan and I were just talking about this. Dan, not realizing that this movie is a German movie. They all speak German, made by German people. And fortunately, unlike my experience with RRR, we were able to watch this with English dub over it. I actually had to watch RRR in Hindi with English subtitles. Was that fun? You bet your blue bonnet it was. Don't tell me I can't do two things at once. Watch an intense masculine movie and read at the same time.
Like reading a graphic novel, right? Because you got the picture going and you're reading.
You could say that. That movie was pretty much a graphic novel in a nutshell. If you guys have never seen RRR, we have done the review for that. And we do I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it for you. We do recommend it.
That's it.
Like the rest of the world did. But anyway, we're not talking about RRR. That actually had a happy ending. This, not so much, which we'll just go ahead and talk about it and be sad. Please try not to be sad at the end of this.
Yes, this is the movie we're doing.
On the Western front. I thought this was going to be literally a Western movie. I had no idea what this movie was about. When it was Dan suggested it, I'm like, oh, okay, I could dig me a nice Western. I haven't seen a good Western in a while. Not the West that I was expecting. Western Europe, there are no cowboys. There are no cowboys in Western Europe.
No, definitely not.
Maybe, but not. Yeah. So here we are getting ready to talk about it.
Had some good I know we're not there yet, but had some great visuals, great cinematography. Did you know, before we get into this movie, did you know there was a 1930s movie of this, and there's a 1979 movie or 1970 something movie of this, and it's all based off a novel,
a book, which I'm going to go ahead and say, and this is going to be basically the foundation of my review for most of this film, is that this was based off of a novel and apparently is not actually based off of that novel in creation. So the idea was based off of this novel. The movie was not based off of this novel. And that is a problem.
Yes. Well, I mean, probably the other movies were more based off the novel, and they took liberties to do other things. So this movie was based off of those movies and not the novel.
I don't know, but to me it's like, if it's based off of somebody's experiences but it's not really based on their experiences, then it's not at all based on their experiences. Ergo, the movie is fiction or historical fiction. So I'm just saying, and I have to agree with the movie guy. Hello, chat. We are live. We're not ignoring you. We're just getting on the road. If you're not segue into the movie guy saying, if you want a depressing movie, watch The Road. If that's the one with shoot fire, what's his real name? Viggo Mortensen, then you're right, sir. That movie is
Oh,
not happy
I
feeling.
don't think I've seen that movie. We'll have to watch it sometime.
But yeah, just saying hi to everybody.
All
We
right. So
see you.
Uncle Mike's there. Love. Talk to you later. Tickle, whatever the name is there. Hi.
Love little love love little Cole. Yeah, hi.
There you go. Yeah. Phil TMNT, Brett Yemens, and the
The
movie
movie
guy.
guy.
And
Obviously
we
the
got
person to
other
go
people
to
that
about
are.
the movie.
That's
But
it.
yeah, be sure to hit the like button on your way in here and grab some popcorn because we are about to talk about the most important thing to any movie, which I've already kind of sort of talked about a little bit here. But the first
Mm-hmm.
category of our 5 categories is I don't know if Dan's at, oh, there he is. He's at the ready. Dan's at the ready.
Yep.
The laws
I'm at ready. Yep.
at the ready.
The
The
plot.
plot.
Everybody's the plot. Over here.
So this should be a good one to hear what Dan's summary of the plot is. So tell us, Dan,
Okay.
in a nutshell, in your version.
Spoiler review. By the
Right.
way, spoiler alert. Yeah. This movie, the plot, is about this young, mainly this one young guy. I mean, it follows a couple of young guys, but it's just like this one young guy. His name's Paul, and he's young. He's like a teenager or something, right?
He's
He
probably
goes
like
into
17 or 18.
yeah, and he was happy to get into the the military to fight do his job, and then while he's there, he's like he kind of comes to, and he's like, wait a minute, what are we doing? You know, he's like, what's going on really? Why are we even doing this? Why are we even fighting? He's watching people die in front of him. He's watching his enemies die, and he's like, wait a minute, but that's a human. You know, it's all based on like humanity.
The human experience, good
Yeah,
and bad. Yeah.
and so he's on his journey of obviously killing people, not killing people, and then one of his friends at the end is dying, and he brings him, and it's just a sad movie. And then the whole point was to end the war, and then there was this one, I guess you could say one uh, general or something. Was he a general? I don't know what he was. He was like one of the bosses, I guess. He's like, you know what? Before 11 o'clock, we're just gonna attack. Like he had a big head on his shoulders, and he didn't care
It was
what
the
everybody.
mustache. It
Yeah,
just made him
yeah,
filled with greed and power.
yeah. And he didn't. And it's like he didn't care what the signature was, and what the letter said to him. And he's like, nope, forget it. We're just going to attack them all. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll all stop. I mean, that's just kind of stupid, but I don't know. It was weird. But I guess it was good because it was like, it was kind of,
It was weird, but it was good. I mean, I guess you could say that about the
and
Addams family.
yeah. And then this, I guess, I read a little bit about it, but, apparently toward the end of World War I, the Germans really didn't gain any ground. They were just kind of inching up
Which is
and
why they
getting
came
really.
out in full force in the
That's right.
sequel episode,
Yeah, in the
World War
sequel.
II.
That's right.
So, not necessarily the series we recommend, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's all I got. I don't really have like what the plot was really about, just because it was just, following humanity,
yeah,
humans in
I
a
mean,
war,
the IMDb has a very drawn out plot summary, but essentially, like what you were saying, is just that this was following the story of Paul Baumer and his experience of the realities and the harshness of war. It might seem all glamorous in the beginning, but then later on, the reality of that people die, people suffer, people have heartbreak, men are broken, families are torn apart, countries are obliterated. That is following Paul's journey, and that's pretty much what this movie is about. Yeah, Brett Yam's All Quiet on the Western Front was frontrunner for an Oscar. When it was an Oscar, it won an Oscar from what Netflix tells us. And we actually reviewed Hacksaw Ridge last year. So if you're curious, you can always go back. I saw he was asking or saying that we should watch it. We have
Oh
watched it
yeah.
and done a review on that movie. So the plot, basically is like that. I mean, I could say the story follows teenagers Paul Baumer and his friends Albert and Mueller, who by the way, if any Germans are in the chat, I'm using my American accent. Please don't hate me. Who voluntarily enlist in the German army, riding a wave of patriotic fervor that quickly dissipates once they face the brutal realities of life on the front. And there's like so much more after that they write about, but essentially that is the case. Yeah, the hardships of war. It's cold and it's rainy and it's uncomfortable and there's not enough food. And again, people are dying and they're dying in very violent ways. Humans are killing humans and a lot of times
World War One, man. Those Germans are always starting wars, aren't they?
Fun fact: Serbia started this war.
Yes.
So, don't be hating on my people for something they didn't start.
Well, they were kind of apart. They were very close to it.
This is true.
The beginning.
This is true. Yeah, Germans are they're just bored and they're just always looking to do something. And they're one day it's like let's just conquer the world. And the dude's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, let's go conquer the world.
Yeah, so. There's a fight going on.
And they did a pretty bang up job of that. Unfortunately. So
and then there's the other World War.
All I can say as a silver lining to that heritage is at least my people are conquerors. We're not cowards.
There you go.
Well, we used to not be, but now. Anyway, so the plot of this movie.
Okay, so I know in the title I'm misleading a little bit. It says,
I was going to ask you about that. Like, what the freak are we talking about, Dan?
So that's a good question.
Well, I guarantee you it will not be the Germans this time around.
Maybe not. Maybe it'll be the Americans. Because there is some weird stuff going on right now. Trump just got, I guess, arrested or something like that.
No, they're talking about it.
Putin just got arrested too, or talking about that too.
Hardly.
Yeah.
Happen.
No, I'm telling you, this is all in the words.
And you believe the news, Dan?
That's what they're all saying. I don't know what's going on, but this could start a war. That's it. Sure. It could start a World War III.
Hey, if Putin gets arrested, I'm gonna eat some of my hair. Okay, for real. Yeah, well, but we could get into all of that. The Bible talks about how there's always going to be wars and rumors of wars. This is nothing new. You know what? Greedy men for power are always going to want more. So it's nothing new, and it's not going to stop until Jesus comes back. So I don't want to say I'm not worried about it. It concerns me, but so I'm not necessarily worried about it. It's just like I'm just worried about buying gas right now. Like, can I afford to go visit my grandmother this weekend? That's really these are the real
right. This is the real stuff. We got someone from Facebook saying hi.
Hello, Facebook user. Welcome to the other side of the internet.
StreamYard is not giving us your name, but
maybe their name is Facebook user, which I find to be very clever. Yes,
it would be.
So, as far as the plot goes, Dan, would you give this plot a point?
Yes, I would. Just because it's like real life stuff happening. So yeah, I'll give it a point.
So I do not.
Yeah.
Because this is another very well made generic war movie. And the fact that it's based off of a book, but it's not actually based off of a book other than the title itself and the location. Sorry. Pass. Because what's the point? I know that there are a lot of movies, Disney itself has taken a lot of liberties interpreting stories, but this is different because it's supposed to be based on true events. I don't like it. Like if this was supposed to be based off of the author's experiences and then it's done something else with it, regardless of how well it's made, then you have strayed erroneously insignificantly
Yeah,
from.
they should have kept some of the book stuff in there for sure.
I don't know how much, but from what I read, a lot was negated from the main story. So for that
Yeah.
reason, and again, I watched this and I had to all of a sudden when I was done with the movie, I was like, that was really well made and man, gets you in the feels. And then I started thinking it's a little deeper and I'm like, this is just another generic war movie. Young man goes to war, finds out it totally sucks and
Yeah.
dies. Spoiler, by the way, guys,
Yeah, he
dies
does
on the
die.
day. And literally about what
Like a
about
few
a
seconds
minute
before,
or
yeah,
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 30
before
seconds,
11.
60 seconds before 11 o'clock, gets stabbed in the heart and dies like maybe 5 minutes after that.
Yep. And then
After they
he gets
said
to hear them
ceasefire.
say, "Ceasefire! It's 11 o'clock. Ceasefire! Everybody ceasefire!"
So I will have to
On
say,
both sides.
in that regards, I will say that was a brilliant maneuver because that for me as the viewer, and since their interpretation or their goal rather was to interpret the harshness of war for the experience and the pull and the feels for us, for we the viewers,
Mhm.
that part was brilliant on the director and the producer's part because yeah, it was a horrible film as far as the experiences and you felt bad for the
Mhm.
guy, but nothing quite gets the viewer in the feels, no matter what kind of feels you have, as an unhappy and unexpected ending.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
that's
you're
true.
the main hero
That's why I give it
dies.
a point,
Right. No. I
but you don't
it
because
doesn't justify the fact
that's
that this movie is a generic war film that's brilliantly made. So,
that's okay. That's okay. So the Facebook user says he's in the same Ghostbusters group as E. Bernard Warg. Warg. I can't say his name, but yes, he we actually had him on our show when we did our Ghostbusters
hmm,
month. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah,
a while ago.
that was a while ago. A couple of Novembers ago, wasn't it? Yeah,
It
something like that.
was, it was.
Um,
I have also seen The Green Berets, Brett. John
yeah,
Wayne movie. Excellent film.
I've Corn's Pattern Ghost. I've also seen Enemy
I've
at the
seen
Gates.
Gates. It's been a
It's a good
really long.
movie.
So all right, talking about all these
Yep.
different films though. Oh, one thing also that I just wanted to say also too was that talk like I get this kind of segues into our next category
Yeah.
is the one guy talking. We talk about acting as the second
Hmm.
plot, and so talk the kid that was talking to the posters. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember.
That
Oh
was
man, that was a little bit
that was
heartbreaking, but it was just like he did such a good job
yeah, like kind of
art to this beautiful woman on a poster.
yeah.
And you have to remember they're not like posters like today where it's a photograph of the
Hmm.
actual beautiful woman.
Of
This was a
beautiful.
drawing, essentially like a cartoon or a fine art painting of a
Hmm.
beautiful woman. It was advertisement for something, and he's already struggled through his first a few moments. This of course is done in over days and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
he's already seen his first battle, second or third maybe, and they're
Hmm.
going cross country and just trying to find food and all this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, you just see them, the camera just dead on this guy's face. And you know what? They never blink. I mean, my gosh, my
Yeah.
eyes water. You never notice that these people don't ever blink. And he's just talking and he was like, "It's nice to meet you, ma'am." And you just think that he's talking to a woman. And
Hmm.
then all slowly the camera starts shifting and you see the poster and then he collects the poster and keeps it on his person as
Hmm.
someone to talk to. And that was well
Takes him out of
done.
the war reality of war.
Yeah, the same with the
Back
little
to,
box with the bug in it. I
yeah.
remember reading about how soldiers would do that. They would keep little matchboxes and have bugs. This was like a stink bug or something like that, or ladybugs or frogs or whatever the case might be, and they keep them in their little boxes as little friends. Not everybody has a dog or a cat that they can tote around with them, and so they would keep them in these little boxes and just bring them out every now and then for a little companion. And I think again that is shows the brilliance of trying to display the loneliness and the depravity of war
Hmm.
for sure. Hey, Miss Martin Muses, welcome into booth. Hello. We are talking about what is it? Western Front, over the Western Front. All is quiet on the Western Front. Generic war film.
But it is in German. You can watch it in German, and you
Miss
can
Martin
watch
usually
it in
strikes me
English.
as the kind of woman who would
Netflix.
watch a foreign film in its native
Yes.
language. Yeah,
Uh,
she's clever like that.
yeah. E. Bernard Warg is here. He's on
Ah,
Facebook.
hello.
Says hi. It was
Yes,
in
yes.
2021. It was in 2021.
Yes, it was. It was.
Um,
Um.
and he
So,
also speaks German. If you watch some of his videos, he speaks German in it too, and he just said he does too. What? That's cool. So yeah, cool. Anyways, so acting. Um, I don't know. I thought when when you said that part, I thought you know just not just. I think all of it really. I think they did a great job. Um,
hmm
I'll definitely give it a point. I
um,
enjoyed the acting. Um, yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
did you watch the behind the scenes video that they also included with it?
I did not.
Ah, okay. It was only 18 minutes long, but it was just the making of the movie, and they were talking to the actors, and I forget what his name is because it's German, and I nobody ain't got time for all that nonsense. And we're just, we'll just call him Klaus. And Klaus was talking about how that when it's all fun and games until you actually put on the costume, and suddenly it doesn't become a costume anymore because he's like it's like an authentic military uniform, and then they put this
Mhm.
heavy belt on you, and then you're putting on boots and you realize you're going to be trudging through the mud, and then you've got your helmet, and then you've got this weapon that you are carrying around. And they actually had boot camp training for not just the weapons, like how to maneuver with the weapons, but also on how to fall and roll and things like that, because they were in the trenches with all of the mud. Everything was really wet and soggy, and that affected their. He's like, suddenly, I don't know how kilos translates into pounds, but he was like, suddenly you've got like 4 or 6 kilos of water weight added onto your original outfit and everything like that. And
Mhm.
Klaus was then just saying that there's a lot of practice and safety issues that had to go into, and training that had to go into just walking and running in the mud, because then all of a sudden explosions, yeah, probably that guy, who knows, but
Felix
probably, or
Sandman.
then there all of a sudden would be an explosion, and you have to like act, remember your safety and your training tips, and then
Mhm.
respond, which part of the acting, but respond appropriately to the stuff that's happening around you.
Yeah.
um and so, yeah, I definitely give acting a point, because just seeing the behind the scenes and how they really try to get into character, and these young boys, these young men trying to, switch gears. You really think
Yeah.
about that. They're just two different people in the same movie. Um, well, some of them were only the one person because they didn't get a chance to make it to be in the second person. Dark humor there, excuse me. But I'm just saying, um, I give
Yes.
acting a point as well.
Yes. And I think his friend uh, did a great job. The not the older friend, the older guy that they started becoming friends with.
I would just call him Heinz. Yeah.
Heinz. This one here, this
Yeah,
one,
he looks like a
that guy,
Heinz.
that guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I just I enjoyed his acting as well. I mean, it was just his facial
Yeah.
expressions, and everything. It just it just showed you that like he was happy to get a letter, and then all of a sudden when the letter started talking about the the his son passing away, his face just like drops,
Mm.
and it's like he did a good job with that. It's like that was like real life stuff.
Well, and
It's hard. I'm sure it's hard to do on camera, like
well, for
just
sure.
like
Well, and not only that, he just did a good job of being kind of aloof. Like he went he through yeah, excuse
yeah.
me. He went through so many different characters, if you will, as just the one character.
Mhm.
So, he was like the battle-hardened soldier, then he was also the friend, then he was just that which I guess kind of goes into the soldier thing, but that apathetic person, but then he was kind of caring, and just kind of bouncing around all over the place with the different feels and the emotions. Um that come again, like Dan was saying, with the human experience,
Mhm.
in such a travesty of settings. So,
Yes, yes. because you called him Heinz, 57 years old. I thought that was funny. Yes, Brett, 1917 was a really good World War One movie too.
I don't think I've seen that one.
No, it's good. We'll have to review it on here.
I don't know if I want to. Does it have a happy ending? Do people die? Is there
Oh,
sadness
of course,
everywhere?
people die.
Well, then
But
I'm out.
I don't know. I don't know. There might be a happy ending. I don't remember the exact ending, so you leave. Goodbye. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, acting gets point. Off to one of the best ones here, everybody. Cinematography. Yes. I really, really,
Too much blue.
really enjoyed it. Too much blue.
Which is why I have my background blue, just
Yeah.
to fight the power.
Fight the power. I think they were trying to go for like a gray, washed out look or something.
By having vibrant blue?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I enjoyed the cinematography.
As an artist, this does not translate to me at all. They were trying to create washed out gray by oversaturating the blue.
Goodness. I don't know. I don't know. But you know, it's I did notice, I should say I noticed when I actually watched a little bit of the other movies too, not a lot of it, mainly
Which
the
movies
teaser trailers of the 1930 and the 1950s one, called the same name. And a lot of this, there was a few scenes that they kind of homage to in the 30s and the 50s ones. So
okay, well, that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice, especially the one where he picks him up and he's got the guy dying on his shoulders. You know.
Well, but again, that's like in every war movie. His buddy is carrying his dying friend.
Yeah, but it was nice to see that it was, on that one first before it went to, like, it was nice to see that in the 30s they did that.
Well, because it happened. That's a typical war action.
I understand that happened, but I don't know. I just like the homage scenes that were like, okay, what about the French guy laying there and that Paul kid who stabbed him, a few times?
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen the other movies. I couldn't tell you if they're paying homage.
but I'm telling you, that scene also was a little bit of an homage to it, because after he stabbed him, he was like, "Oh my goodness, you're human like me," and he kind of came to his senses and he was sad. I don't know, and that's what happened in the other movie.
At first, I thought you were talking about the guy who stabbed himself in the neck with a fork.
Oh no, not that one.
That was great. It sounded to me like get this man some beefaroni. He's hungry. He is missing some
yeah, and he's
protein.
Like, oh, did you get utensils too? Yeah, sure, we got utensils. And he's like, looking at.
And then he was just like, I'm out. Like, I'm done with you. Can you? All right, I'll talk about that later on with the.
That was crazy.
The allegory. That was crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was nuts.
It was not what I was expecting, for sure.
Oh, exactly.
It's the best.
For some people. So, yeah.
So, anyways, it's the best.
Too much blue. And but there were some really cool shots, and I have to say something that I appreciated the most was the composition.
I see, like this kind of blue.
No, this is more washed out than what was on my screen. This is like cool under blue.
Maybe you got to fix your TV screen then, because
maybe
this is how it looked at.
Okay, maybe
this is how it looked on my screen.
Yeah, but look at their eyes in this one. It's almost like James Bond with Daniel Craig or something like that. It's like,
well, they're German, blue eyes.
That doesn't mean anything. Stereotype.
What about this one?
And that was before everybody was crazy and killing people that weren't blonde and blue eye. You got to remember there was like a huge decade and a half or something like that or whatever. I don't remember how many years were between World War I and II. But yeah, this movie was really, I think, a little oversaturated on this heel. But there were some really cool shots with nice composition. That was something that really caught my attention. And also the awesome shots with the depth of field to really intensify, especially they really focused on the eyes, which makes sense because, they're the window to the soul. And this is a story about,
Yes.
boys becoming men and facing reality. So I will give cinematography, even though it's too much blue. I'll give it
I
a
give it
point.
a point because I definitely enjoyed it. It was a nice one.
It was a nice one.
See, look, he's
Okay, you could say that about every third American person too. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, like in my family, we have there's a bunch of us, and we have one member blonde and blue-eyed. One. The rest of us are pretty much dark-haired and dark-eyed. I'm just saying. So.
Yeah.
War kills the soul, right? And I think that was what they were trying to go for, in my humble opinion. I think they were trying to. And by the way, Facebook user 3999. I'm just kidding. I don't know what your numbers are. I'm just picking. My family is authentically German, so I just feel like I'm allowed to rib them a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, you wonderful Facebookers who's watching this, if you would like, we're also on YouTube, and YouTube shows your names. So if you'd like to jump on YouTube and comment from there, that would be fine too. Just to let you know, I don't usually go live on Facebook that often, but sometimes I just like to throw it up there just so everybody can see us. So yeah, anyways, we like to be seen. That's it.
You like to be seen. So you give cinematography a point as well. Okay. So, do we also stream on Rumble, Dan? I believe we do.
Yes, we do. I don't know if it streams live or if it goes on after.
We'll need to get on that so we can make an informed clarification to our viewers. Because I didn't know. I'm just to answer.
But it does go on Rumble. We do post on Rumble now. So yes, I figured some stuff out.
We are always figuring stuff out, guys, here on Inside the Booth. If you know us, you like us, you love us, you'll leave us a like because we're just like you. I know we seem like professional YouTubers of the internet, but don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. We're just like average people, just trying to do our best. And YOLO, am I right? So, thanks for jumping along for the adventure with us. And not only can you follow us on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, but you can also find us on Patreon because you can support us there,
Yes.
And just throwing that out there because, as professional YouTubers, we got to eat. Otherwise, you can't see us anymore. And we know, like this movie, that would be a sad day. Indeed. But anyway, what would be our next category?
I like what Brett says. I'm a professional commenter.
And I noticed that about you. There's just a little bit of a flair that he has, and it's an honor to have you here and have your presence in the chat. Mm-hmm. Anytime we have a professional nearby, we like to pay respects. Dan, dead air.
Okay, yes, it is dead air. I was just reading what
Read it out loud then, man.
Bernard says, interesting. I'm on Facebook and I see Bill's name and my name. Maybe he's using computer. Bill's the other Facebook user.
Oh, I thought they were the same Facebook user. No, well, look at that. See, look, always learning.
Well, I'm using a phone. No, it's actually the reason why it does it this way, if you see it down there, is because StreamYard, I don't know, is weird about Facebook. So, yeah, that's why. There you go.
Web Junior 1977, thanks for coming back on YouTube.
You pretty much did basically the commercial thing, except for one thing. We have merchandise, everybody.
Oh, that's right,
we do. What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Oh, it's beautiful.
It is. Just
And
like my shirt here, instant man flick. If you're wondering how you can change any film into an awesome manly film, all you got to do is just add a campfire. It's been a proven strategy for nearly 2 years now. And that being said, though, Dan, would you classify what is it called? All is Quiet on the Western Front. Why is that so hard to remember?
I don't know.
I think because I am associating it with a Western, but my brain gets confused because it's not a Western. Anyway, were there campfires in this movie?
Were there campfires?
Were there?
There were. Yes, there were.
So obviously this makes it an instant
This is a man's movie.
Movie. So I'm glad we got that out of the way because was a little concerned there that this was a girly film for just a second.
All right, so here's Bill that was on Facebook. And then yeah, so anyways.
It just
I love it.
Go by what you can around these here parts. So our next category, the score, the music. Surprisingly, I mean, this has some music, but not a lot. And I will honestly admit that when you first turn this movie on, there's no introduction with music, right? Mm-hmm. And the still shots are so still. I thought my TV had frozen. Nothing was moving. And it was like that for several seconds. And so I kept pressing pause and play because I thought that something was wrong with my streaming service. And I actually, backed out of it and came back into it because there was absolutely dead silence and zero movement. So they really set the tone for all is quiet. Mm-hmm. On the final frontier, whatever it's called. So and that wasn't the only time where I wasn't sure if the movie was playing or not. There are several cutscenes where there's if you look really carefully, there's one scene where they're staring up at the trees and it's so quiet and nothing freaking is moving. And finally I saw just a little wiggle in one of the leaves, but you had to look for it. It was like looking for Waldo, okay? And that's how I knew that my screen wasn't frozen. Hey, Mrs. Cannoli Squash. Good evening. Glad to have you here. We are talking about All is Quiet on the Western. I said it right, the Western Front. Another generic war movie. But anyway, so I think it was kind of a cool choice. I know not everybody's into films that have little to no music. We kind of talked about that with like Terror on the Prairie and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But depending on the film, having no music sets the tone for the film. And I think that the placement of the music and the placement of the silence was integral. I just, darn it, if I didn't wish some birds or something made a noise in the beginning, like the first 30 seconds of the movie, because I thought something was wrong with my TV.
I do have to say, because the music was not a lot.
Minimal,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, minimal. And the music they did use was that bassy riff from a bass guitar or something. Like
Transformers.
Right. That kind of putting me to sleep a little bit. And I'm like, I gotta stay awake. I gotta watch this movie.
And needs those intense, fast and furious moments.
Yes. Yeah, I think a little bit more intense music would have helped a little bit. I mean, they
so here's the thing. Would it have helped the movie or would it have just helped you?
Would have helped a little bit of both. Now, I'm not saying a lot of music, and
this movie's not about you.
I know, and there are some parts of where there's no music or just the sound. It was fine, but there was just some parts where it needed a little extra help. I think
a little something. Yeah, I mean.
So in my opinion, I don't give music a point.
Ooh.
That's the only thing. That's the only gripe I had, I think.
I'm going to give it a spiteful half point because I needed to know, I needed that reassurance that everything was okay with my streaming service. I don't like it when a movie
That's so
stops
funny.
start a movie over and again because it's so still that I can't. I mean, no panning, no zooming, nothing, nothing for seconds on end. And so I was like, "What's wrong with my TV?" So that's I think I honestly I would have preferred it one way or another. I think that it had more silence than it had music, and if that's
Mhm.
the case, I wish they would have just made it like predominantly musical, or predominantly just or just completely silent. In my opinion,
Right.
that's
Right.
also another reason I'm giving it half a points. Cannoli Sasquatch in the house saying hello. Great movie,
What's
very
up?
dark, bleak, but fantastic. I will agree with you in almost every way, sir.
Almost.
This is probably one of the best generic war movies I've ever seen. Yeah. Just throwing that out there.
Now, I will say it's no 1917. That was a really good movie. That was way better than this one. But, you know, for all purposes, because we're not talking about that movie. All musical.
On the
On
Western
the
Front.
Western
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like it's Oklahoma or anything
We're
like that,
singing.
but,
If only if it was a musical,
yes,
it would be better.
I've always wanted to be a dancer. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see how our allegory, our final category for the evening, is going to play out in this movie because I've got several thoughts on my mind, but I'd like
Good.
to hear
Then maybe you can go
Dan's.
first.
You're right, Corwin's pattern ghost. I am, because and the only reason I keep repeating myself is because we get new viewers in, and so I want them to know. They need to know.
So the next is the allegory, everybody. The allegory. There's one. Don't steal from other people. You know,
That's
like
what you got out of this movie.
no, that's not what I got out of it. But
Steal?
that's something that just popped up real quick. Yeah, you know, because remember they were stealing the chicken and then they stole the chicken eggs at the end. If they didn't steal those chicken eggs, those two beautiful souls would have stayed alive. Freaking guys.
I love how a movie about World War I and the travesties of death and life and aggression and power crazed Mongols, and Dan's like, if they just hadn't stolen that chicken. Don't steal, everybody. That's great. I love it. It's going down to the nitty gritty, the basics. Yeah.
That's it.
So
Don't steal.
Dan, out of all is quiet on the Western Front, Dan got don't steal. It's good. It's good. So it's a start.
That's it. That's a start.
It's a good place.
I like where Paul, when he figures out that he's not just a number, you know, and realizes that not people are numbers, but they're human beings, and they also have families, and they have, you know, friends, and it's not just him and his comrades, you know. And he's like, and he tells the one guy that he was killing in that pit. He's like, comrade, no, you're my comrade now. He took off his helmet, and he took off his thing so he could show the other guy that he is pretty much the same as him. And then he decided he wanted to save him after stabbing him several times in the chest. And he's like, why did, he felt like, why did he do that? So that comes to realization that, everybody are humans and we should be treating every human with, as equals,
not in
dignity,
war.
respect, love. Well, that's probably why he did that, was because
that's not
he's
how
like,
you win a war.
Well, right. Germans didn't win the war anyways. So.
We were this close. Hey, Italy didn't do much better. Okay, I'm just saying. If we're gonna be pulling out in stocks and barrels and numbers, I'm just saying Italy didn't do so great, Dan.
No, they did bad too. I don't know much about World War I, about Italy and all this stuff.
Oh, I just mean in general.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
just kidding.
Well, back in like the 300 AD, now we can talk about
Right,
it.
you guys burnt down the libraries, killed Christians. I'm on board. I got it.
Yeah. I mean, they ruled at the time the world.
Oh man, but if only they just loved each other and treated each other
Yeah,
with
that's true. That's true.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
But yes.
So what I got out of this movie was, again, this movie talking about the human existence, the harsh realities of life, and all of that stuff. It just kind of got me a little flustered, and I'm like, you watch these movies and you take into heart what our forefathers, no matter what side of the globe you're on, right? The winning side, the losing side, doesn't matter. For about what I'm gonna say is that we need to stop being such soft, lily-livered, yellow-bellied pansies, okay? Like, find something that's actually worth fighting for besides whether you're a kitty cat or not, okay? Or which bathroom you got to be using. It's not that complicated. It's just meant for defecation and urination. Get over it and find a worthy cause, and let's just stop being so nitpicky. And I'm not even trying to pick on these folks necessarily out here that need special kind of Jesus in their life. Even the people that have Jesus in their life, we need to just get off of our butts, stop being so freaking sensitive to everything, because you know what? There are real problems in the world, and we are so
There are
blessed.
real problems, yes.
We are so blessed the fact that we as a normal beings in our day-to-day lives don't have to face those harsh realities. We don't have, shoes that are falling apart, trying to build infrastructures with mud and clay and burning in the hot sun. We're not starving. We're not taking orders from people that don't care about our well-being and all this, that, and the third. And it's just like, even for myself, it's like, okay, grow up. We got bigger fish to fry. Stop complaining that your lights don't work all the time. You got to go out in the grocery store and buy some more kale chips because little Susie, is gluten-free or whatever the freaking case might be. Like, we got real problems in the world that we could be trying to solve. And we just need to look back at our forefathers and foremothers, if that's even a thing, and just be like, these people survived the Holocaust. These people survived the Great Depression. These people survived Vietnam, Korea. Again, no matter what part of the world you're in, whether you're on the winning side, the losing side, or the consequences of all those actions, it's just time to man up and just stop whining. Let's just be grateful and find a worthy cause to fight and argue about. And so that's what I got out of this. I mean, it's no stealing.
Yeah. Well,
I can't compete with Dan. Hey, Achilles Jones and Scarf. What is up? Let me look to the corner real quickly. Just for you. Blessed to be friends with us. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are #blessed as well, as I've already stated. I mean, the fact we have working internet, I've got cute lights behind me, my hair looks gorgeous. What do I have to complain about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could be in I was going to say a third world country, but I have a question. Since we are the third planet from the sun, doesn't that make all the countries a third world country? Just wondering. It's third world.
I don't think that's how that works, Dan.
I'm just saying, maybe I could blow someone's mind. I don't know.
I would like to bring awareness. Here's a real problem, Dan. I'd like to bring awareness to second or second world countries. Nobody talks about second world countries. And to be honest, I don't even know which country is classified as a second world country. So I feel like awareness. We need to start awareness for that, because what country is the second world country? I only hear about first and third world countries. Are there fourth world countries? Who makes up these numbers?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Oh, look at that. You've got a fan, Dan.
Oh,
Dan
yeah.
looking extra handsome. Oops, spelling. Oh, yeah. Tonight. Yeah. And Jedi Bill.
Hello.
But so allegory. Dan says say no to stealing, and Tabitha says it's man up. So I feel like we did pretty well.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it can't get much better than don't steal and man up. So Stop
Let's give it a
whining.
point. Let's give it a point.
Can't give it a point. So, if you guys are new to Inside the Booth, of course, welcome. In the show, this is the part of the show. Please be hitting the like button on your way in here. But this is the part of the show where I tally up all the points for all the categories and tell you in just a little bit what score this got from Inside the Booth, while Dan tells you about the stuff. Thank you. My hair is pretty nice tonight. Thank you, Scarf. Thank you.
Yes, it is. It's quite good. All right. So the stuff. I don't know what the stuff is, but we'll just call the stuff the internet stuff. Those of you who are on a YouTube stuff, don't forget to vanquish that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share. Sharing is caring. And
want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. That's right. That bell is just so wonderful. I don't think it always works because I don't always get notifications of people that I do have the bell rang to. So make sure, even if you are bell ringed and everything, make sure you stop on by every once in a while to make sure you watch some of our stuff. And don't forget, we're always live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sundays and Tuesdays.
Not only that, we tend to drop trailer reactions from time to time and keep you entertained with some of our YouTube shorts because, again, we're trying to be like the cool kids, and we're professional YouTubers here now because we just recently hit 1,000 subscribers.
We did.
Because of all of you lovely people.
Yeah,
we'll do something special to celebrate good
yeah,
times. Come on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great.
So glad R2's not here.
Yeah.
Or am I?
So yeah, that's it. And then what are the points?
What are the points? I know. Calm down, Dan. I know you want to know what the points are.
What did we give it?
Calm your Italian self down. Okay, look. You'll get nowhere with me with that attitude. So the points. So out of these possible, thank you, Brett. That was a lovely compliment. So out of 10 possible points that this movie, How the West Was Won on the Final Frontier, is how many points? Or all is quiet on the Western Front. Whatever. I don't care. Generic war movie number 15. Out of 10 possible points, how many do you think it got, Dan? Tough one, I think. 8. Okay, maybe not as tough as I thought. Wrong, but close. It got a whopping 7.5.
7.5.
7.5. So it's one of those things where I've said in the beginning, and I have repeatedly said throughout the show, and I don't mean to necessarily be snarky when I repeat it now, is that it is a very well-made movie. It will definitely get you in the feels. I think it depicts the war routine pretty well, but again, it's not like it's fresh. And I think, again, a big problem for me is that this is supposed to be based on somebody's life, but it's not actually based on their life. They just pretty much used only snippets and very few of them, and it used the title of his book, and that was pretty much it. So for me, this is not a movie.
Read the book.
I do. This is not really a movie I would recommend to anybody, even though it's well made. Again, it's just generic. It's a young man trying to find his journey and realizes the harshness of war. His friends die, and he dies in the end.
He does die in the end.
I'd just rather watch Twister for the 9th time, if I'm going to be honest. So
I will agree to disagree. I'll if you like war movies, this is World War I, by the way. We have a lot of World War II movies, more so than World War I, I believe. Just because I don't know, I guess because it's just not taught as much. So
it's one of the less popular wars for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know in when I was in school, we were taught about World War One, but not as much as World War
Yeah.
Two. World War Two was like the craze or something.
Between World War
Um,
II and the Civil War, these are
yeah,
predominantly the
that's
two
it.
wars that America focuses on
Yeah,
for
this
whatever reason. I
is
don't know.
this is correct.
I would say that Vietnam comes in a nice second place.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
and then we're just going to totally skip
No
third, go right to fourth, and that would be Korea and World War One. So
Yeah, but they don't even talk about. Yeah, you're right. They don't.
that's why I
talk
said
about
we're not
Korean
even.
War
There is no third. It
that
literally
much.
just like
Yeah,
goes to fourth place. Nobody talks about the Korean War and hardly ever about World War One.
right.
And
That's
then nobody
crazy.
talks about Afghanistan anymore. It's just old news. So
Yeah, which is nuts because I've had friends that were over there. So it's I don't know, just crazy.
which again
Um,
is just showing case the realities and the harshness of war is that when it's not popular, when it doesn't befit people, when people no longer are patriotic, nobody cares.
that's true. It could be. Yeah. But I do kind of recommend this if you guys like war movies. It was a decent movie. It was. I guess you could say, in my opinion, it was nice to see it on the other side of the world. Like Germany.
Okay, I will
It was
agree with
on.
that.
Yeah,
I
it was
like
on.
that.
Yeah, because you see when the Germans did it. Because Americans look at Germans and they started all wars and they're the bad guys basically.
This is true. Yeah.
But it was nice to see their side of the story.
Yes, I did appreciate that. That was something that was, I will say for that, it was fresh for sure.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because I mean, we're not seeing movies about, the Taliban side of everything and Al Qaeda. We're not seeing movies on, Noriega in Panama and the drug war and his viewpoint and how it was okay to slaughter women and drag people through the streets,
Right,
So
right.
just saying. So this was pretty cool to see it from the opposite side. But again, showcasing that it doesn't matter what side of the street you're on. It all is difficult, sad, and unfair.
Yeah, exactly. Brett, my grandfather also, rest his
Mhm.
wonderful soul.
Yeah,
Couple
it
years
was
ago,
very common
he fought in the Korean War.
for everybody to have a family member that was in one war or another. Very patriotic country we used to have. So
Yeah. Korean War has its own TV show.
yes, MASH did go for 10 years, but I still don't think that people didn't really watch MASH for the Korean War. They watched it because it was funny.
Yeah,
Until
it was
was more.
MASH.
I mean, I'm a big fan of MASH. I just like, I again, Korean War. Just nobody talks about it.
Yes.
Dead air, Dan.
No one talks about it. Okay. Anyways, dead air means good night, everybody.
Well, remember.
No, I don't. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Forks and knives. No.
I was just reading comments. That's why.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for being here. We pretty much are done anyway.
Yeah,
So,
we covered our bases. Yeah.
we
And
covered
then
everything.
some. And then some.
Yeah, and then some. Wonderful.
We aim to provide extra.
That's it. We
Like
aim to.
Dan's wiggling caterpillars over there.
And you dropping something, and your whole desk shakes.
We're just, where I'm located. It's tornado zone. No, it's fine.
I don't see no tornado. It looks fine to me.
Well, I've bolted the house down, so
Nice. So yeah, guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for
being you.
Yeah, sharing and being you, and remember, we don't always stream on Facebook much. So if you get the chance to jump over to YouTube, go for it. We're always YouTube every Tuesday and every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't
That's
forget.
right.
That's right. Don't forget.
That's right.
That's right. Oh,
So, yeah.
yes. I got I want to say goodbye with that cool new goodbye that I made.
The cool new goodbye. Enjoy, everybody, for your own viewing pleasure. Dan is giving you the brand new goodbye.
That's it.
Wah, wah.